Gaming Today presents Cash Considerations.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast. Today is Thursday, July 9th. Oh, man. We got through the 4th of July, but we couldn't make it back to phase 2 or 3. We're back to phase 1. On the show, we're still in phase 0. That's what Mo's calling it, and that's what we're going to call it. Everything is the same for us. Tonight, we got the boys all back. Last week, we had a little hiatus from Mo. Tonight, we welcome Mo. No video, audio-only feed at Heed These Takes. Mo, are you there?
Yeah, man. I'm still hanging out. I appreciate you guys taking me back. I obviously had a small hiatus, but I'm good. I'm fine, man. I'm glad to be back.
Okay. And with you tonight on location is Alan Berg at Percent Berg. What's up, AB?
Yeah, I'm here on location. Video not working. But we're here, and that's what's important.
We are here with video tonight. Down in my lower left box here, we have Howard Barish, managing editor at Gaming Today. HB, what's up?
I'm here. It's another week. Everything's on the table as we learn hour by hour, and we try to press on no matter what.
Every week you say everything's on the table. I'm tired of the fucking table. It's fucking full. I'm sick of it, but I get it. That's where we're at. Producing the show, and we're going to weigh in tonight, hopefully on some UFC. Our guy, I Am Reynolds 2305. Reynolds, what's up?
What's going on?
He's here. He's ready. So the show is at GT Cash Consider on Twitter. We picked up a couple new followers. We actually picked up a couple reviews. You guys are still listening to the show. We ain't got no minimal sports to talk about, but we keep showing up, and we appreciate you guys showing up. So keep doing that. I am Dave Sherapan at SportsBK Thank you guys for following along there. And format of the show tonight's going to be this. We're just going to talk about what we got to talk about as far as this, virus and things changing. We're just going to plow through it, and then we're going to talk about the sports that, we can at least watch and bet on and, enjoy for now. We can't go to a bar and have a drink, but we can watch sports on television. So that's where we're at. Let's start off, boys. Mo, I'll go to you first because you guys at Circa, and I'm representing the brand right up here with my hat.
Hopefully no doubt, I love it.
Yep.
Always.
Put up college football lines, and today we get a WTF, like the kids like to call it, with college football. The Ivies canceled the whole season. They're going to play in the spring. The Big Ten is going to play conference only, all fall sports. You guys had a full board of lines, and you're a college football guy, Mo. What's your pain level at?
Man, that's a lot to ingest. We're basically just trolling the market with that right there. We already knew what was going to happen, so we were just kind of putting that out there for everyone to feel more pain, more than what we already feel. Me personally. When we were putting it up yesterday, and we seen the Ivy League fall, in which I thought it was odd because the Ivy League was the first conference to fall last year when March Madness fell apart.
Yeah.
So, I was like, yeah, this seems pretty brutal, but I don't know.
It was for the record, you just said it last year, but it feels like a year. It hasn't been a year, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
Well, remember, they're smarter than everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, perfectly put there, my friend. We just wanted to show that people, because we didn't really have much college football stuff out anyway. A lot of people had their season wins, in which we already knew it was going to be kind of brutal to put stuff like that out. But just to have week 1 out seemed like a pretty good idea, obviously, before today. But yeah, we were happy for, what the people thought when they seen the numbers. Everyone had an opinion. We're still going to go strong. We just turned off the games, obviously, that are the non-conference games, but we'll still be rolling through it. We'll figure out some other stuff to do in a couple of weeks.
HB, you're a Pac-12 guy, and you may be headed down to ASU, in another month or so. What do you think of all this?
I think they'll follow suit with the other big conference, with the Big Ten, and only play in conference games. Travel is the problem, especially with out of conference. We really didn't sit back and think about referees that are in their 50s and 60s. Guys that may not want to be around 100 college kids. They talked about professors the last week or so in some of the bigger publications around the country. A lot of these tenured professors don't want to go to the school and teach. They want to do everything virtually.
I don't know. I have kids. Virtual learning is tough, especially their younger ones. I mean, I think in college you can get by. It's still not the same experience. And, I mean, I don't know what sports are going to do.
The other thing is people sometimes don't realize or understand putting on a big-time college football game or an NFL game especially, but even a college game that's on Pac-12 Network or ABC, the amount of people that it takes production-wise and operation-wise is close to 1,000.
Yeah, it's hundreds. Yeah, it's hundreds. It's hundreds, and they're not all local. Everybody comes in.
Right. So all of the logistics associated with that is, these things now that we took for granted come into play.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, and it just, I don't know what, like you said, they're going to follow suit, and we do the show every week on Thursday. We've been recording it. Now, what are we going to talk about next week? Probably the shortened college football season, the maybe no college football season. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I know that the conference thing, it makes a lot of sense in that everyone will be doing the same thing. The Big Ten will test all the same. The Pac-12 will test all the same. Like ideally, they'll work it that way if they're going to play. The SEC, you just get a feeling they're just going to do whatever they want to fucking do. That the SEC just feels like it's the Wild West, and they're going to
Cream of
play.
the crop. They don't care about anything.
They don't, Mo. You're right. I mean, they just don't. So
They come right from the NASCAR race to see the football.
That's it. Boom. Then we're already in. Now we're rolling.
Now, let's not get political.
Let's get
please.
the pigskin going.
Oh, NASCAR. We're not talking NASCAR this week. I don't want to talk about NASCAR. I don't want to talk about any of that.
Left.
Wait a minute.
What?
6 Russian table tennis players cannot be bet on anymore.
Yeah, somebody
A
caught on.
stunner.
Did you see that from Purdom?
Yeah, somebody caught on to that.
I
And
think Colorado's involved.
New Jersey was involved. Somebody integrity units said you can't take bets on that shit anymore. So you probably should have never taken bets on it to start. But everybody needs action, and we're trying to generate business. So let's take Russian ping pong bets.
Kosmonimov had a 6 serve. No, I'm kidding.
Check the cup.
He was a beast.
I won.
All right. Well, I don't know if there's going to be college football or not. We'll just
There's
wait.
going to be college football, Dave.
You think there is?
I promise you. I promise all of you guys.
The MAC.
There's going to be college
MAC is going to go on. The MAC has to go on. They play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's your problem.
Those are the only days that matter, in my opinion.
I hear Miami, Ohio's in good shape.
Oh, the Miami University.
Them and Toledo both. All right, let's swing it. Oh, man. Soccer. AB's not a college football guy, but I know he's a soccer guy. He watches it. He made lines for goddamn MLS, which started. A couple teams have already dropped out. They got the virus, the Rona took them out. So now there's 24 instead of 26. They're playing in front of empty places down in Orlando. What do you think, AB? Are you 1, are you watching it? 2, are you betting it? And 3, are you seeing anything in the European leagues, whether it's the English Premier, the Italy League, the La Liga, whatever, that anyone listening to this podcast should start looking for?
At this point in time, no.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm thrilled there's anything on television when it comes to any type of live sports. So hats off to everyone for getting it going. As far as MLS goes, I mean, I need to see a little bit of on-field action before I'm willing to try to bet something. So to the people who are just firing away, bless them all. But yeah, I need to kind of see what these teams look like before I'm willing to back somebody. But chances are I'm going to end up with a future at some point on one of these teams to win this, World
Really?
Cup style tournament.
Okay. I think it's going to it's generating interest. I can tell you that. I don't know if it's going to generate the type of interest that the established leagues across the pond are, but if it's on ESPN, people are going to bet it. So for anyone listening, I mean, we can't give you AB said he likes to watch it and have an opinion. There's a lot of people bet that aren't watching it and don't have an opinion. Literally,
That goes for everything, but yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and we're going to get to that next, even, with the golf. They're just betting it. Like they're just, and again, there's no insight. There's no one knows anything. It's very interesting. And again, like you said, with the soccer, we were talking off the air about the three-ways. Man, I don't know about you, but when you see a draw, you just know it's a winner for the book, don't you?
Oh, it's insane how you can't get bets on draws. Like you could be 5 cents higher than the world, and it just still seems like there's no one out there willing.
And as a bettor, I think you'd want to take that 2.5 to 1 every time.
You're always getting the best value on the draw. Always, like in town. Doesn't matter. Pretty much any shop you go to, you're going to get the best value on the draw.
Arsenal's up 1-0 with 4 minutes to go. 86 minutes in yesterday. It ends up a draw.
Right.
Oh, injury time is the biggest scam going. Somebody just says, yeah, there's 7 minutes, put it on the clock, and then they wait until somebody scores. I can't believe how many goals are scored in injury time.
Dude, there was 12 minutes today in I think the Tottenham game, and I sent Jeff an email. I said, did someone die?
Yeah,
It
someone.
was like
died.
12 minutes?
Yeah, I seen someone die. Like,
Oh, you seen it?
Yeah, they brought the stretcher out on the field.
Oh, okay. I was like, it had to be.
Well, we needed to draw, so it's like they're just running this shit out. And then I forgot who Tottenham was playing. I think maybe it was Bournemouth, but there was
Sounds
a
about
goal.
right.
They scored a goal, but it was a handball.
Oh, VAR.
Yeah.
So I
Armenia.
went back, so I was like, all right, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
But when it went, because I didn't realize how much time elapsed when the guy died.
Yeah.
He didn't die, but
Right. But you
I
get my
seen the
point.
12 minutes and
Yeah.
I turned that TV off. I said, ain't no motherfucking way anybody can watch this.
I've
right now.
never in my life seen 12 minutes.
Well, no.
Ever.
That's the longest injury time I've ever heard. 12
Right.
minutes.
Not only do we need Tottenham, but they just got a goal scored against them.
Right.
Gets called back.
Yep.
Now there's 12 more minutes in
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
We're done here. I'm done watching this game.
Mo, you know what else is done? You talking that far away from the mic. I need you closer to the mic.
Man.
You got to get closer to the goddamn mic. You see Reynolds over there. He wants to come through the screen and say, Mo, get closer to the mic. So
I already sent him. I sent him a private message, so I'm glad that you put him on blast.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to put Mo on blast sometimes, especially when he's, on location and not, sitting down with a seatbelt in front of a microphone like we have to have him.
Oh, man. Disrespectful. Jesus.
You can handle the heat, Mo. Come on, you're a young kid. You got your fucking mask on? You should have your mask on too.
I don't know what that is.
All right, fair enough.
Never-
Boys, golf. We've been talking about golf every single week, and we've been talking about the Thursday leader, and we've been basically, when people get to the show, it's probably too late, but we're giving them who's not going to win the tournament. We've been consistent now the last couple of weeks with giving out the right guys that aren't going to win.
I think we're hitting at a 95% clip right now of who's not going to win.
We should be bragging on Twitter.
Yeah, other people can brag on Twitter. We don't really have to do
I'm
that.
kidding.
No, come on.
There was hurt there.
A lot of animosity.
Wish I could see those two faces.
The video is not working. It's audio only. For the listeners who are listening, audio only. We're on video as well on YouTube, except tonight we don't have AB and Mo on the video. So golf this week, the field was better. They're at the Memorial in Columbus. There was a lot of bets spread out more. Like last week, it was all Bryson DeChambeau. Who, HB, is he on Lloyd's, do you think?
No, just a lot of protein and weights.
Protein and weights.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do. I mean, there's so much testing these days. Unless you got something that can beat it. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I don't think so.
I don't know.
He's 27. I mean, his body can handle this.
Right. Well, he took the week off, so spread the bets around. Justin Thomas ended up being like the betting favorite. So leading right now, Morikawa shot 65 today. He's -7. Mo, is he going to win the tournament? Yes or no? He has a one-stroke lead.
Where's Adam Hadwin at? Is he still involved here? Or
He is one stroke back at -6.
Morikawa ain't winning shit.
There it is.
Matsuyama's going to be involved. Take that to the bank.
Matsuyama is 8-1 right now. Justin Thomas is 6-1. Morikawa is 5-1. Who do you got of those three?
Of who? Which three? Can you repeat that? I apologize.
Morikawa 5-1. Justin Thomas 6-1. Matsuyama 8-1.
Oh man! Every time I feel like anytime I ever talk shit about Justin Thomas, he smokes. I mean, as in he does good. But Matsuyama, I got to ride with Matsuyama until it's over. I have to do it. I have no choice.
I can't believe Dave didn't hit you with listen to the show, Mo. Going way back.
I already buried him because he wasn't close to the mic. I didn't want to take shots.
Hey, Alan,
Yo.
wouldn't kill you guys to send me over the matchups so I could put them on Twitter.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I'm not the golf guy.
you should have been sending the matchups, dude.
The show is nothing but personal heat tonight. Like this is just like flat on,
This is-
very frictiony.
Residual effect of the pandemic. We're all at our wits' end.
Collateral damage.
Everybody is at their wits' end. AB, last week you dipped your toe in the water and bet some guys golfing. Did you do it again this week?
I did not. I fit due to a juicy field price that I found later in the week. I ended up with the golfer that finished 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
It can't be real.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that real?
that's real talk. Yeah.
This is on the Rocket Mortgage?
Yes.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Hey, speaking of matchups, I was listening to a show this morning with our friend Bill Krakenberger, and he was saying that anytime in a matchup in a particular round that someone's +2 to 1 or more, it's value.
Oh, without a doubt. For a one-round matchup?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't see them very often. We've been putting them up, actually, and I can't believe how much action we're getting on them, considering we are only open in 3 books, and half of our regular customers don't have money in their accounts and don't bet. But the one-day matchups, it's very, very difficult. Last week, DeChambeau was -$3, and he won his head-to-head matchup, whoever he was against. But in general, yes, you're right. There's extreme value. Anything +2 to 1 is really good. You usually don't see anyone more than -180, to be honest, in a one-round matchup. Too much can happen, and they're going to shoot within 2 or 3 strokes of each other at most if the matchup's set right. So,
Right.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So AB doesn't have any golf. I'll say Morikawa doesn't win. I don't know who's going to win, but I didn't look further than those guys. So I just wanted to mention that because we have some people that play golf, watch golf, and bet golf that listen to the show, and they were actually highly amused and actually mentioned that it was pretty good that AB was betting it, but he didn't know who his guys were when we asked him. I don't have that guy. I don't have that guy. That guy. So I don't know who the other guys are, but let's move on. UFC, boys. this is it.
Now we're talking.
This is a big deal.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it's Fight Island. It's, you guys know it's like maybe it's overhyped or whatever because you guys are fight guys. But we'll start with you, Reynolds. The card looks pretty good to me, but again, I'll defer to you. As far as the overall card, do you like it? Do you not like it? And where do you stand just with that initially?
I mean, the card, I think, is getting overvalued. I thought somebody said a few weeks ago, they were like, this is one of the greatest cards of all time. I was like, it's not better than UFC 249, 2 months ago. It's still a strong card because all three title fights have some interest. You have Volkanovski and Holloway, the rematch. I know Volkanovski's camp, his coach had made an interesting comment about there not being enough time for Max Holloway to make adjustments. It was such a smart tactical fight. How does that play out? Is Holloway able to make the adjustments? He's training only on Zoom. How is that going to affect? Then you got Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. Aldo doesn't belong in the fight from a merit standpoint as far as he lost his first fight down in the division. Yan looks like an absolute force at 135 pounds. And then the main event got upgraded 6 days ago, or not 6 days ago, 5 days ago. On 6 days' notice, Jorge Masvidal steps in because of the positive COVID-19 test for Gilbert Burns, and you get a much better marketable fight. And this is a rare case of a win-win for Masvidal and the UFC.
Wow. And you're not really one to quickly give them credit or say that something has worked out, but that's very interesting. It sure seems like the hype is there. AB, did you write a column this week on the you did write a column, right?
Cover.
Oh, yeah.
You gave him the cover.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Royale.
The digital edition of the Gaming Today will feature our own at Percentberg, Alan Berg, with his column on the UFC. Where are you at with this card and your initial thoughts before we actually dive into a couple of the fights?
I'm excited for the card. The main event's really priced very well. I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of value betting on either guy. From what I've seen behind the counter, the squares love Masvidal, but we've had some sharp bets as well on Masvidal. So I've seen a little bit early on Usman, but the guys who bet on Usman at minus 300 are a little sick at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those classic, misjudge the market. But respectfully, one of those guys came back on him again, and that's my type of guy.
Right? Yeah. So, are any of the other fights other than the last three worth mentioning as far as a betting standpoint from either one of you where, I don't know, Van Zandt is like a huge dog. There's another fight that's like minus 180. I don't know. Does anything jump out to you? Otherwise, I'm going to just talk about the Aldo Yan fight, the Volkanovski, Holloway, and Usman and Masvidal.
I personally didn't see anything undercardish that I'm like super crazy about. The one fight I do like, it's a little chalky, is one of the ones you're about to talk about. So
Okay. Reynolds, anything for you? Women's fights, anything jump out or just go right to the main three?
Just really quickly, because Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade is a pretty good fight because the last time they fought, Rose Namajunas beat the hell out of Jessica Andrade for about 8 minutes. It was the best she has ever looked. She was precise. She was accurate. She was devastating. And then she got slammed on her goddamn head and knocked the hell out. And to me, it's kind of crazy that Andrade is plus 180 when she possesses that kind of power. So I like Rose Namajunas a lot. I just think
Wait. So this is a rematch, and the one that lost is a minus $2 favorite?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That screams.
Skill-wise, Rose Namajunas is worlds better than Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is just an absolute beast. That's the difference in this fight. And she got destroyed by Zhang Weili when she lost the title. So I think that's probably why some of the number is inflated. But
Okay.
to me, I don't know. That's just too big a price on Namajunas, given that it can end in an instant.
Okay. All right. Um, well, that's good stuff. If you guys pay attention to that, that's Andrade and how do you say her last name? Rose Namajunas.
Namajunas and Andrade.
Namajunas and Andrade. Okay, so value there, Andrade. Actually, going to be looking forward to watching that one. All right, so the last three fights on the card, Jan and Aldo first. Minus 240 plus $2. AB seems a little steep, and I can tell you this from what I've seen. They're taking actually both guys on this one. This is pretty more even than the other two that we'll get to. You seeing anything here or like anything with this fight?
Yeah, I've seen bets on both sides of this one. I really like Peter Yan. I actually think he's going to piece up Aldo in this fight. I don't know. There's something about Aldo to me right now. I think Moraes was really close to, landing one more shot, and I think he could have probably finished Aldo. And then Aldo just kind of, outsmarted him with veteran tactics and won that fight. But he didn't get the decision. I don't know. I think Peter Yan's I think he's a special, I just think he's a special guy on the feet, and I think that'll give Aldo a lot of problems.
Agree or disagree, Reynolds?
I actually like Aldo. I think there's good value on him because I think he's a cleaner striker than Peter Yan is. Peter Yan's a super aggressive dude, and he hits pretty hard. Not to anything that's too outstanding, but I haven't really been impressed with anything I've seen him in the cage. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his best win is Uriah Faber, who is coming out of retirement. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does against Aldo, but I thought Aldo was going to get destroyed against Moraes, coming down to 135. It was always a bad cut down to 145, so to take 10 more pounds, he looked awful in the lead up to the fight on the scale. And then he put on a brilliant performance. And I thought Moraes still won the fight. I thought he took it late. But the fact that he stood there with one of the best in the world at 135 pounds, I think Aldo deserves a lot of credit. Again, he doesn't belong in this fight based purely on merit. He's coming straight off a loss. But I think he's got the skills to beat, and I think he's going to have the speed on Peter Yan.
Wow. All right.
That's not a guarantee. I just think that there's good value on Aldo there.
Boys disagree a little bit there. The co-main event, I guess we'll call it, Volkanovski and Holloway. We got minus 210 plus 180 on this one. And I was tempted to go back down to $2 today with the favorite because usually these things, and it has happened in the past couple of weeks with the fights that were at the Apex, the parlay liability was rolling to the favorite. This parlay liability is all on Holloway. Whether it's a fan favorite, public dog, I'm not sure. AB, are you guys seeing that? We have an overwhelming amount of bets on Holloway on this fight.
Yeah, it's been pretty steady Holloway. There was a lot of early steam when he revealed to the media that he hadn't got to do any sparring and he hadn't done any training other than through Zoom. So I think that's where a lot of the guys move the number. So now I think it's just basically the market's correcting itself for the most part. I thought that fight was very close. I thought Volkanovski won the first fight, but I question whether or not he can do exactly what he did last time with just a bunch of leg kicks to keep Max off balance. So I thought the line's a little steep on Holloway. I'd like to get over $2 if I was going to back him. But that's one where depending on what happens with the line, I may get involved with Holloway by decision or something of that nature.
And, you guys you can find, if you're in town in Vegas listening to the show, different apps between Caesars and Circa. You guys got the 5 ways, you got decisions and different things like that. There's a lot of options. Reynolds, you see this fight going a certain way, and, the total is 4.5 over minus 220.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going over automatically, right?
I mean, I would think so. I mean, that's just the way Volkanovski fights, and Max Holloway's always been a guy. He's tied with Yoel Romero and Randy Couture for most third-round finishes of all time. So he's a guy that puts it on you late, and he was coming alive in the later rounds in the first fight with Volkanovski. I know he says that he broke his hand, so that was part of the reason why he stepped off, and he also had a lead on the scorecards. I just think, to me, Volkanovski is just one of the smartest fighters out there. He has brilliant game plans. He has great tactics. And it's not always the most fun thing to watch, but I mean, he's just so strategic and so good at implementing what he wants to do. Look at the fight that he fought Aldo and won a decision in Brazil as a case in point on that. And then, I mean, just a great job in the fight to nullify Holloway for, a majority of that fight. To me, I just think that there's not enough time, as Eugene Behrman, the coach for Volkanovski, said, for Holloway to make any kind of real adjustments. And then the world has changed too much for Holloway to get any kind of real training in, saying that he hasn't done any sparring. That might be somewhat of a benefit because Holloway's taken so much damage in his last 5-6 fights. But I just don't know how you can prepare for a guy like Volkanovski without doing any actual live training.
Mo, have you seen any – you guys are taking, big limits. You got your boy Kalikas now, manning the ship a lot of times with the UFC. You guys see an action this early, in the week, or is it all day of or weekend action?
No, we've seen some pretty decent action early. I think Alan, was talking about that Volkanovski deal when Holloway was talking about his camp. So, we've seen our share of Holloway bets already as the market came back. And then obviously a lot of the Masvidal money that's been coming back. We've seen a lot of that coming in too. So, our limits are pretty decent to say the least. So, from a lot of the familiar names that me, you, and Alan know of, a lot of these guys get dimes on some sides that are, pretty decent for us. Action that we actually like to see, not action that we don't like to see.
Right.
We raised them today. They're going to be a little bit better tomorrow. But we see quite a bit of action on the UFC stuff, man. UFC is king right now at Circa. I think everyone would say for the most part.
More than golf?
Soccer's coming close, but UFC is ahead by a couple points.
Is it the new NFL by chance?
Oh man, UFC is the NFL right now at Circa.
UFC
is the NFL at Circa. Soccer's coming in. Soccer's my NFL right now.
Oh well, it's taking the crown from golf, so that's good. Well, the main event is Reynolds, you said it best. I mean, it kind of got improved. It's marketable. Masvidal is a complete freaking maniac, and a lot of people want to see him fight. A lot of people are betting him, boys. A lot of people are betting him. This is another fight where the quantity of bets, it's this one is, I think, even more for us on the dog, which, again, sometimes happens early. We're down to minus 240, plus $2. Reynolds, does this guy have a shot, or is Usman just that much better?
I think Usman is that much better, but Masvidal has a shot. I mean, this is almost a little bit similar to what I was saying about Gaethje, in that I think his best shot comes really, really early. I doubt it's going to be like a Ben Askren fight where he throws the flying knee, and lands it 5 seconds in. He's not going to be able to have that kind of timing. But Kamaru Usman has fought one dumb fight in his, I think it's 11 fights in the UFC right now. And that was against Colby Covington, who he was pissed off at, and he fought angry, and he still won that fight, right? And he was still able to charge forward in the 5th round. So to me, he's got the better cardio. He's been training in Denver with Justin Gaethje because he left his Florida camp because him and Gilbert Burns were not necessarily teammates, but they trained at the same place. Right? So he's trained with Gaethje, putting it on each other. There was video of them having an unreal sparring session.
In Elevation, he was training?
Yep. So he already had great conditioning. He's an absolute grinder. He can wrestle. He can strike. And Masvidal, he's a guy that, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, to be honest with you. Like he's a good fighter, but he's a 155er. And this run that he's on, he knocked out Darren Till. Great. Darren Till's now fighting at 185 and struggled more with his weight cut than he did actually to fight at 170. His best win was against bloated Donald Cerrone. Bloated's a little unfair, but Cerrone's a 155er as well. Then he knocks out Askren with like a 1 in a million shot within 5 seconds. They fight that fight 10 times. That doesn't happen the other 9 times. And then he fought Nate Diaz, right? Nate Diaz is another 155er. Nate Diaz is a guy that was career 500 at welterweight. You know,
what is the weight they're fighting at this fight? What is the weight?
170 pounds. That's welterweight. And Nate Diaz's wins at welterweight in the UFC were all against lightweights. Conor McGregor, Anthony Pettis, and I'm missing the third one. Not important. I'll come up with it later.
So you like Usman?
I think Usman, there's just too many things in Usman's favor for me to make an argument against Masvidal outside of a flashy technique early.
AB. Well, I don't want to spoil the column. I want everyone to go to the digital edition of the Gaming Today.
Appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. That would make Howard very happy, as well as the rest of us. I mean, you know, it's there available, all the articles. You guys are doing a great job, HB, with that. It's been really I spend my Fridays at work actually reading a lot of the articles and stuff. AB, where are you at with this main event?
Well, you know, it's like I try to teach in the articles. It's you can't just bet who you think's going to win. That does not work out long term. The idea is you want to concentrate on what the prices are. And you know, if there's a shop that gives you Usman at like $1.90, $1.85, it's probably worth laying. It's probably worth getting on at that point. I'm as big of a Masvidal fan as there is right now. I hope, and I'm sure Dana White hopes, he knocks this kid out because he's got the personality of a cactus. But you know, the thing is that it's still a fight game, and the better fighter is going to win. And Reynolds hits it right on the head when it's, you know, Masvidal has to land something early that really can change the dynamic of the fight. And if he doesn't, it's probably Usman just wrestling to death like an old GSP fight.
Oh,
so you know, that's probably what we're getting. I do think there's a little bit of me that worries about laying the price with Usman because of the fact that he really seems like he wants to make a statement in this fight and prove that he's a main event money guy. And when guys start to worry more about that than winning, that's how they lose. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But on the current number that it's at right now, it's a total pass for me.
would you lean one way or the other with the total? 4.5 under. You guys got it minus 145. We got minus.
I'd probably go over because you're getting plus money on a guy that like Masvidal. I just don't see Usman finishing him. And if Masvidal gets him, he's probably going to get him early, and you're not going to really sweat that total. So you take the plus money, hope that Masvidal doesn't land something massive in the first 2 rounds, and you're probably going to get to the window.
There you go. All right. Well, that's Saturday. What time do those fights start, boys, on Saturday? Like, what time is the main event going to be?
It should be the normal. You'll have the prelims at 5 o'clock, go until 7 on ESPN. Pay-per-view starts at 7. Main event probably hits the cage, I don't know, around 9 o'clock.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
With Abu Dhabi 10 or 11 hours ahead?
You know what? Well, I believe they're catering to the U.S. market on this, but I'll look it up.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know. The times haven't been set yet as far as what I look at every day. So I was just curious if you knew. But that's Saturday. I think it may start a little earlier, but, you know, for the listeners, just you got some good information there to make plays.
Yeah, the listing I'm looking at says main card starts at 7 p.m. And everything I've read this week is them catering. This isn't like when UFC 242, the last time they were in Abu Dhabi, where it was like 11 o'clock in the morning start time out here in the West.
Wow. Well,
So they'll be fighting Sunday morning there early.
yeah. Yeah. Well, wonder if that'll have any effect. Well, speaking of effect, we're back to phase 1 starting tomorrow. I don't even know. Where do you go with this, HB? Where do we go right now? Like, because after tonight or tomorrow, you can't go to a bar and have a drink. You'll be drinking in restaurants only or out on your back porch having some wine.
Well, if the numbers are accurate and there's great concern because the reopening here June 4th caused a lot of infection, and look, that's up for debate. That's not something we're going to do here. But if it is in fact the case, I think this was the first defensive move as opposed to closing the casinos completely. I think that is the last, thing they want to do. Anybody wants to do. They instituted the mandatory masks this past week. Now they're going to try to curtail the social settings where people are close and face-to-face, and they hope that works. Between the mandatory masks and the bars and basically the 50% occupancy in the restaurants and encouraging people to dine outside, even though Sunday it's going to be a fucking 114 degrees.
114.
We'll see.
I think eat outside when it's 114.
That's what I saw tonight on the local news. 114 for Sunday. I think that's the state's defensive move right now between the masks and the bars. I think closing the casinos would have been super extreme and an extraordinary event. Personally, no politics, just an observation.
Yep. I go to an office every day now. I'm not actually in a casino. The boys still walk through the casino to get to the areas they got to get to and stuff. They're still out roaming around sometimes. This is going to put a little crimp in some things that our boy Mo may want to do or does or hang out. What are you thinking, Mo? I mean, it's bad enough the pain of college football, but what's your pain for phase one?
Very good question. I feel like I was living somewhat of a better life health-wise when I wasn't doing anything. That's just a personal thing, by the way. But
Alvarez quote.
I don't make the board. Yep.
I can't. I don't know. I can't imagine what it would be like. If sports, or just the casinos in general go back down. Not just for my livelihood, but for everyone that's in the city. Not to get on that type of topic, but
yep.
I'm gonna be hurt, man. Obviously, like all of us that are doing this show are gonna be crushed. And
I'll be fine, Mo. My life doesn't change, so I'll be fine.
You're not gonna. You'll be involved. I'll make sure you're involved, Reynolds. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best. I'm super optimistic, man. Even though the light seems pretty fucking dim at this point, but I'm hoping for the best.
I'll say what I say every week. I think it's super important for the NBA to start. They were the first to shut down. What's that?
Somebody's got to start, whether it's them, NHL. They got to start.
But especially the NBA. I just think it's got a much bigger significance. The stars of the league are much bigger, and it would be a message. If LeBron and all those guys go out and they start playing, I think it'll set the tone for the other sports.
NHL seems like they haven't said anything. They're ready to play under any conditions. It's the only sport I know that hasn't said anything.
Yeah, they're keeping very quiet up north, and
isn't that them always? You never know the injuries. You never know what they're up to.
You have no idea.
Secret Society of the Ice.
They're going to play 6 games a day, staggering the times. It's going to be very interesting betting wise, watching wise.
Booking's going to be wild.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm actually.
Is that going to be like March Madness?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes. It's going to be staggered throughout the day. There's going to be just a game, 2 hours, game, 2 hours, game, 2 hours, the whole day, 6 days, or 6 games a day, every day, until they start narrowing down, eliminating teams. It's going to be great.
Those hockey totals are going to be wild.
Yeah, they will be pretty sick.
Yeah, it's going to be
4.5 for those day games.
Yeah, they're going to be playing at noon in Edmonton.
I can't wait to negotiate splits. It's gonna be my favorite part of the day. Well, what do you think we should do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move it to 5.
Just move it. Yeah. Under minus 150.
Just get off it. Get off it.
That's it. All right, boys. That's pretty much it. That's all I got. You know, we've been doing the show again. I got to wait and see what the schools are going to do. You know, 2 days a week in person, and then maybe or online only. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But before we go, everybody gets. If you want a minute, you can take it. I'll start with you, Howard. Anything where you're at right now on July 9th, and we're looking at, like you said, 114 for the weekend in outdoor dining only. Where you got anything for anybody with that orange shirt on?
Nah, just hunker down and keep your distance. Be smart. Wear a mask. And hopefully we get to July 23rd and they say play ball on the diamonds.
Whew. Absolutely. Baseball.
Like it.
Actually, yeah, baseball's first. Baseball's definitely first. Yeah. Mo, sign yourself off here. Anything?
I didn't get to say anything last week, obviously, because you know, I was busy being reckless. But to anyone out there that's listening, which is very important to me, Cam Newton went to the Patriots, so they're never going to lose. Like, everything I ever said about the Patriots is still good up to this moment. So I don't think I was going to bring some bullshit to you. The Patriots are still going to – they're going to win the AFC East, and they're going to be battling for the Super Bowl. I don't care if football happens or not. That's still involved.
If it doesn't happen, do they get it?
The Patriots should win by default, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Just want to clear that up.
And that was a political move, but that's another show.
That's
I
another.
know what they're up to.
That's a tease. We'll work on that for next week.
Hey, Mo, if they do win and don't play, it'll be a happy ending for their owner.
Oh, man.
Oh, cha-ching.
That was written like 3 weeks ago, Howard.
Yeah.
That joke was written 3 weeks at least.
Maybe last year.
Oh, I'm okay with that. I'm all right with last year.
AB, what do you got on the way out?
I'm just hoping to see Jorge Masvidal baptize this kid, because I think that's just great business. Because that's what I'm all about when it comes to the UFC, and Reynolds will agree with that.
Very good. Come here. Kendall wants to say hello again. Hi, Kendall.
Hey, Kendall.
Look at that. Last time she lost a tooth, she was on the show.
Absolutely. Actually, she lost her second tooth, and she's still looking for Mo.
I still owe money.
She's still looking for Mo. So smile. Show everybody your teeth. There you go.
Tell her you're in line with like 5 other people I owe.
Yeah. Mo gets on the O's list now.
Tell Dad it should have been a $20 bill.
I'm
That
gonna
hurt me.
I'm
That
gonna
hurt me,
leave
man.
you guys with this. I don't know where Joel Embiid got that hazmat suit, for as tall as he is and big as he is. But if we go back to the real phase one, I'm getting one, and I'm just gonna go out in it, whether it's to go to work or go to the grocery store or whatever. I'm just gonna get one of those hazmat suits because they look very comfortable, and you know, between that and the mask, it'll probably turn some heads. So
See the video of the guy at Costco in Florida who
no,
ended up getting fired?
no.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing a mask, and somebody started breaking his balls, and they put him on video on the phone, and he flipped out. His company fired him. Top producing insurance salesman.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
No one's
what it's
immune
doing.
to it. Wear the goddamn mask. That's
guy
all.
lost his shit in the Costco cashier line.
Yeah. No, people are losing their shit all the time. If we keep doing the show here for another couple minutes, one of us might actually lose their shit. So I'm going to sign it off for the boys. We'll swing it around. Again, we got Howard Barish at Gaming Today News. We got Mo Toy Pearson at He These Takes. We got Alan Berg at Percent Berg. And we got Reynolds. I am Reynolds 2305. Good stuff tonight, boys, with the UFC. You know, the rest of the stuff, again, we'll see what happens. But, for the show, it's at GT Cash Consider. For the virtual edition of the Gaming Today, go online and read it. Alan's got the cover. It's one of those ones where, man, I wish it was printed because I would get it and hold it up. And
Hope this doesn't have like a Gaming Today jinx where Alan gets the cover and then all of a sudden like gets injured, blows out his ACL next week.
Manning cover jinx.
We'll get relegated to page 18.
Shit. Maybe Meach will be there, or I don't know who's on.
Yeah.
page 18.
He'll be next to George Epstein's poker column.
All right. Well,
Tell it
go all in with when you got a
I
pocket.
We
think
love
it's the only
George,
way.
by the way.
I think it's the only way.
All right, that's it. That's going to do it. Have a good night. Have a good week. Follow the show. Rate, review the show. We'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy UFC from Fight Island.